Good afternoon. My name is David Shimp, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer here at Del Sol Medical Center. Wanted to be able to give you an update on the patients that we have, and in fact, one of our patients is going to be joining us momentarily. Of the 11 patients that were brought to us, 6 of those patients remain in our care, 5 are in stable condition, and 1 remains in critical condition. I'm going to be joined here today by Octavio Lizarde, one of the survivors of Saturday's attacks, and a patient here at Del Sol. Octavio is actually going to be undergoing surgery later this afternoon by Dr. Justin Orr, who also joins me. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Orr is an active duty member of the U.S. Armed Forces with the Army and an orthopedic surgeon that's stationed at William Beaumont Army Medical Center here in El Paso. Additionally joined by Dr. Stephen Flaherty, our trauma medical director here at Del Sol. We are so incredibly proud of the work that the Del Sol family continues to provide for the victims of Saturday's shootings, and all of the other organizations and entities that have participated in care, that have been so kind and generous with donations to the families, to the staff, to El Paso in general. Del Sol has a really unique and special partnership with the William Beaumont Army Medical Center that allows active duty military doctors and medical residents to participate in care that maintains and enhances their readiness to be able to treat casualties during wartime. On Saturday, 3 active duty military surgeons from the William Beaumont Army Medical Center, in addition to 5 surgical residents, ended up being part of the team that cared for and responded to the injuries and casualties that we ended up seeing. Fortuitously, Dr. Orr, who was one of the orthopedic surgeons that was on call, is one of only a handful of orthopedic foot and ankle surgeons really in the United States that's capable of treating some of the injuries that we ultimately ended up seeing, in particular the patient that's going to be joining us, Octavio's foot injuries. I'd like to ask Dr. Orr, as again we're waiting on Octavio to come down, would like Dr. Orr to be able to speak about some of the injuries that he's seen, as well as the surgery that he's going to be performing later this afternoon.
Thank you, David. So as you guys will see when Octavio comes down in a few minutes, he sustained a very high velocity gunshot wound to his foot. And this was consistent with some of the other injuries that we saw, unfortunately, on Saturday morning. On Saturday morning, Octavio was stabilized, damage control orthopedics was performed, and you will see that he has on right now what's called an external fixator. Later on today, we will start stage 2 of his very long reconstructive process. He will receive a device such as this. It's a circular external fixator, and this device is a unique device that allows us to manage patients with very tremendous amounts of bone loss as well as soft tissue injury, and that's Octavio's current condition. He has a tremendous amount of bone missing from his midfoot, as well as tremendous damage to his soft tissue. And so today we will begin the long limb salvage process for Octavio to give him the best possible functional outcome long term.
Dr. Flaherty?
I'd like to tell you a little bit of what it was like when Octavio arrived here to the trauma center. As you can imagine, the emergency room was a beehive of activity that morning, with many patients arriving with injuries that had them very unstable. Their blood pressures were low, and they were in need of life-threatening immediate surgery. But some of the patients were more fortunate and did not have immediately life-threatening injuries. Octavio is one of these patients. And so he was placed in an area of the emergency room separate from those with the more acute injuries, but still seen immediately by our care teams, the outstanding nurses in our emergency room and the emergency room physicians. He was thoroughly assessed to make sure that the one visible injury, and he had a dramatic, obvious injury to his foot, but we get very concerned that there could be other injuries, something that's less visible. And patients like this are extremely distracted by the very nature of the pain in that extremity. So we want to make sure that there isn't something more subtle that could be more life-threatening. That evaluation happens, and once we're satisfied that none of those conditions exist, then he gets further care with imaging and the recognition that we need to go to the operating room because this needs to be cleaned out to decrease the risk of infection remove any foreign materials that might have gotten embedded into the wound and any tissue that might not survive and cause further injury. At that point, Octavio is transferred to the floor where he continues to get ongoing care, and we start the involvement of our therapists. And Del Sol Medical Center is so fortunate to have outstanding physical therapists and occupational therapists that get involved early to help with their mobility. But of course, the full extent of that mobility can't be realized until Dr. Orr gets his work done. So I'm very proud of the team that took care of Octavio, everybody that was involved in his care. Octavio, good to see you, man. And we're proud to introduce him to you this morning so he can say a few words.
Octavio, tell us how you're feeling.
I'm in pain. It hurts. But this pain will end. The only pain that won't end is the emotional. I thank the soul for trying their best to take care of me, and the doctors as well. They're getting to know me as well, and I just feel grateful that I'm alive. He had the chance to kill me, but he didn't. You know, because God's with me, and who could go against me? I did lose my nephew right in front of me. I won't go into details, but it was a horrible image, and I hope nobody ever goes through it. It's very painful, and I just hope that my family and I get better emotionally, and I think everybody in the city, around the country, who's been helping us, and the other ones that were affected by the shooting, I hope they are okay as well.
Octavio, we know you have a long road to recovery with this. I'm so grateful for you for entrusting us with your care around this. You're familiar with the additional surgeries that you're going to need to have around this, right?
Octavio, ¿podrías contarnos qué es lo que se encontraban haciendo ese día en la tienda Walmart tú y tu sobrino?
Estamos haciendo un cheque, fuimos al banco.
Octavio, if you can tell us the moment that you heard the gunshots, the moment that you realized that you were injured, tell us about that moment.
I heard the gunshots when me and my nephew were in line to open a bank account. We saw people running, and I grabbed them by the hand, and I was like, well, crap. So I grabbed them, and shots were fired, so I took them to the back of the room, the bank, and well, everything happened. My nephew and while I was trying to like crawl back to where it was hiding, he shot me right in the foot. And like I said, he could have easily shot me, but he did.
Did you see him? Did you come eye to eye with him? Did you come face to face with him?
I took a quick glance at him. I only saw he had glasses, and I looked away.
Octavio, ¿cómo ha sido el trato aquí en el hospital con los doctores que has
Perfecto.
tenido y cómo te sientes?
El tratamiento ha sido perfecto. Los doctores son muy amables, muy inteligentes.
¿Y cómo te sientes?
Me siento bien.
Octavio, ¿cuántos minutos crees que duró este
¿Incidente?
ataque?
Yo digo que esto sucedió y pasó por 15, 20 minutos. Se sintió muy largo, la verdad. Pero estoy feliz que ya pasó. Sí, mucha gente perdió sus vidas y lo lamento por las familias.
How many gunshots did you hear and what was going through your mind?
A lot.
What did it sound like? And tell us what you were feeling.
It sounded like a high caliber rifle. No expert in weapons, but it hit my foot pretty bad.
What were you thinking at the time?
I may or I may not die. First thing I thought about was my nephew.
Gustavo, ¿tú
¿Podrías
tuviste tiempo de
describirnos un
reaccionar
poquito?
en algo? Que cuando ocurrió esto, ¿tuviste tiempo de reaccionar? ¿Qué pensaste hacer?
Reaccioné y lo escondí conmigo. Me subí arriba de él así.
¿Y qué pasó?
Pues quisimos meterlo, yo lo quise meter a mi sobrino dentro del banco con uno de los manejadores y pues nos cerró la puerta y en eso pues le dije a mi sobrino vente y nos escuchó el que disparó, se acercó y pasó eso.
¿Lo
¿Qué
viste?
te decía?
¿Qué te decía tu sobrino? ¿Qué fueron las
Nomás
palabras?
me dijo, ¿qué? Porque le dije, come here. He said, what? I'm like, come here, hurry up. He's like, where? I go here. So I tried to pull him, and I looked up and he was there. He looked at him as well, and he turned to look at me, and that's what he did.
¿Por qué cree que no lo mató? Usted dice que él tuvo la oportunidad de matarlo, pero que no lo hizo.
Yo digo porque, pues es por Dios.
Can you tell us a little bit about your family and the people you're surrounding yourself by to get you through this, and tell us kind of what
These
your
are-
family means? And
These are family members. These are friends I've had for a while. We had 2 or 3 random visits from random people we didn't know, and yeah, most of it is my family and friends.
Can you tell us about your nephew? I think you said it in Spanish, but in English,
Yeah.
what happened exactly?
Well, I took him to the room. I wanted to take him to the room where the manager was. I tried to pull him to where I was. He said, what? I'm like, I'm over here. He said, where? I pulled him back with me. He came, the shooter came, and I guess he heard us. He shot him.
You were very close. You had the same
¿Qué
haircut,
crees
I think.
lo que pudo haber provocado esto? ¿Qué mensaje mandas a las comunidades tanto de México
Pues
como
lo que
de
están
Estados Unidos?
diciendo es de por racismo. Okay. No sé si él lo influenció este presidente algo por racismo y todo. Pues si él fue racista, pues pobre de él. No tuvo que ser una razón por qué matar.
President Trump is planning on visiting. What are your thoughts on that?
Por favor.
¿Qué mensaje le pedirías,
What do
le
you think? Tell
darías
me
al
what you think
Congreso?
about Trump visiting.
let's keep it on patient care, please.
What was the scene like after you were hit? And our hearts go out to you and your family. What did the scene look like after you realized you were hit?
Oh, I don't. There's a lot of blood. That's all I could say. I'm sorry.
Octavio, si pudieras ver al presidente Trump, ¿qué le dirías?
Why the
Patient care.
racism?
Let's keep it on patient care.
¿Podrías
You
en
spoke about your
español
nephew.
describirnos un poquito cómo lucía la escena después de este?
No, es que la escena no quiero estar detallista, pero sí hubo mucha sangre. ¿No?
Were you able to see your nephews no more?
I saw that one time, and then the police took me out of there.
¿Cómo va tu estado de ánimo?
Pues estoy tratando.
Octavio, ¿tú tratas de olvidar lo que pasó o cómo
Sí.
estás tratando de adaptarse?
Trato de olvidar, pero pues, claro, es un niño que fue como mi hijo y no puedo olvidarlo. Aparte de que yo tengo un gran corazón y toda la gente que veí pues, me dio tanta tristeza.
Okay, we've got one more question.
Octavio, tell us what your
Octavio,
day
we'd
is
like
with
to
the
get
two
some
ladies.
are with you here today?
This is my girlfriend, that's my wife, and this is my cousin Esther.
Octavio, ¿cómo cuántos minutos tenían ustedes en la tienda cuando empezó el
Por unos 5 minutos estamos ahí.
Okay.
As you can imagine, it's been difficult. We'd like to go and get some rest.
Octavio,
Thank you all very much.
Mucho éxito, mucho éxito. Nuestras vibras están contigo.
Gracias, Octavio.
Speedy recovery.